I don't know what's going to happen. But something is. Something big. The name of the ship's the Honolulu Star. That's right. The Honolulu Star. She's sailing in the morning. I'll have something more definite before the day's out.
I have requested you to honor me with your presence today, Mr. Chan, because I need your help.
Your most flattering request makes me the honored one. How may I be of assistance to you?
It is a question of murder, Mr. Chan. This morning, a young Chinese steward serving on the freighter Honolulu Star was shot to death. It is my desire to see that justice is done.
May I apologetically remind you that the local police are most efficient?
It is my belief that the answer lies not here, but aboard the freighter itself. It sails for Honolulu tomorrow.
May I humbly request why you believe this?
The steward had telephoned the ship's insurance company, reporting suspicions that some disaster was to overtake the vessel. Unfortunately, he will not be here to verify those suspicions.
One more question, please. Your interest, it stems perhaps from some financial involvement with the ship or its cargo?
No, Mr. Chan. It is related to the dead man.
Oh?
He was my son.
Something?
Would you be so kind as to direct me to the captain, please?
You a passenger?
Well, so my ticket insists.
He's up on the bridge. Follow me.
Thank you.
This way, mister. Wait here.
Seaman will show you to your cabin, Mr. Chan. I'm afraid our accommodations are not as plush as a liner. Maybe that's why you're the only passenger aboard.
When a man reaches the age of serenity, Captain Carloff, comfort comes from within.
You have a big case coming up in Honolulu, Mr. Chan?
Why do you ask?
Oh, I wasn't prying, of course. It's just that, well, you're not exactly unknown in Honolulu. And coming aboard at the last minute like you did.
I dislike very much disappointing you, Captain Carloff, but as far as I know, I have no further assignment in Honolulu.
Well, we'll try to make it a pleasant trip for you. And I think I can promise you a calm, uneventful voyage.
Unfortunately, such moments have been far too rare in my life. Now, if you will excuse me, I will go to my quarters.
Certainly.
You should have finished your reports before sailing, Mr. Flynn, not after.
I know that, sir. I didn't have time.
I don't want any excuses, Mr. Flynn. If you can't... Oh, come in and join us, Mr. Chan. You've met my chief engineer, Mr. Flynn?
Oh, yes, I've had the pleasure.
Why, you clumsy, stupid... Can't you serve a bowl of soup without spilling it?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chan, but it'll be a clear day on the Horn when this outfit gives me a decent steward.
You had similar difficulties with your last steward, Captain?
He got himself shot.
One could hardly blame the ship's owners for that.
Must have been a gambling debt or smuggling racket. Maybe some woman. I don't know.
Must be very comforting to know it had nothing to do with your ship.
This is Mr. Chan, Doris. My wife, Mr. Chan.
A great honor, Mrs. Karloff. A beautiful woman is like a delicate flower that adds color to the most drab occasion.
Thank you.
I do not wish to question my good fortune, Captain, but I was not aware that captains' wives were permitted to accompany their husbands.
My wife is a passenger, Mr. Chan. A paid passenger. She hasn't been feeling well. Thought a few days at sea might help her. Isn't that right, Doris?
Whatever you say, Paul.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. Flynn?
I'm not hungry, sir. I've got work to do.
It is most regrettable that Mr. Flynn is without appetite. I am finding this dinner most enjoyable. Perhaps it is due to the relaxed and peaceful atmosphere of a ship at sea.
Radio wanted me to tell you there've been some storm warnings coming in, Paul.
I'd better check on it. Excuse me.
Sea voyages are a highly recommended tonic, Mrs. Karloff. I trust you find this one good for you.
They're all right, I guess, Mr. Chan. I'm afraid I'm not much of a sailor, though. I even wear high heels on board. Makes it hard to walk. Well, like this morning, you know. Like when you saw me trip and Mr. Flynn caught me, kept me from falling. You remember?
But of course I remember. A pleasant memory, like the scent of jasmine remains long after one has departed the scene.
Pleasant?
I noticed your high heels. How foolish, yet how charmingly feminine they were.
You have a very nice way of saying things, Mr. Chan.
Strange. I didn't know ship's engines are allowed to stop during a voyage.
Well, they never are.
But your good husband assured me this was going to be a voyage that was just routine.
Are you going to take all day to tell me what happened, Mr. Flynn?
It's the thrust block, sir. It's seized up.
And how did that happen?
I don't know, sir. But it was frozen solid. We can't go on under our own power.
Then get below, mister, and find out why that thrust block froze up.
Yes, sir.
Paul, it'll be all right. They can't blame you.
200 miles off of San Pedro. Do you know what a salvage will cost if they have to tow us in?
I'm going to see that block for myself.
Captain, would it be an inconvenience for me to accompany you? I'm very curious about ships.
All right. Meet me below. I'll stop at radio and find out about the nearest ship. The shaft runs through here, all the way back to the school. I can't understand how anything could seize up that block.
Oh, excuse me if the question sounds stupid, but is that protective covering usually unbolted?
Oh, the lubricant block? No, that's always bolted down tight to the... Dirt. The lubricant block is filled with... It's loaded with dirt.
So, Mr. Flynn couldn't find out the trouble, eh?
Well, I'm going to find Mr. Flynn. I've got a few questions I want to ask him.
Captain. You will have to ask your questions elsewhere, Captain. Mr. Flynn's answers have taken flight with his soul.
Everything is going to be all right, Doris. An accident. Nobody's fault. It just happened.
Unfortunately, your convictions are far stronger than my own, Captain.
Why not? Gear could slip. Engine vibration can shake weak tackle loose.
Quite true. And if one hibiscus bloom in a field withers and dies, it could be accidental weakness. But not when more than one is affected.
More?
You may recall that violent death recently visited another member of your crew, the Chinese steward.
What is it, Sparks?
I've raised the nearest vessel, sir, just as you ordered. They can be alongside in 40 minutes and tow us into Pedro. If you request them to officially.
All right, Mr. Barker.
You're wrong. You're all wrong, mister. My husband didn't kill Johnny.
I do not recall having made such an accusation, Mrs. Karloff.
You think I gave him reasons, is that it?
I did not say that either.
Now look, my husband's 55 years old. I'm 26. I know just how he feels every time he sees that look in some young guy's eyes. But it never goes past that look, Mr. Chan. I never let it.
But Mrs. Karloff,
you saw Johnny Flynn kiss me. Sure. But that was his idea. He grabbed me as I went by. That's all that it was. I'm Paul's wife, mister. I don't ever forget it. So he's got no reasons. He's no murderer. You can't make me buy that no matter what you say.
Well, the tow set. At least we can get back to Pedro in one piece.
What ship is it, Paul?
She's out of Acapulco, the El Gavilan. Her master's a man by the name of Arturo Ramirez.
I see. What's that going to mean to us?
Who knows? Maybe I'll lose the ship. Maybe I'll lose my ticket. It all depends on how much it'll cost the owners.
Don't worry. I'm sure everything can be handled on a friendly basis with Captain Ramirez.
Sure. It can be worked out. Friendly.
unfortunately, Captain, such friendly deals cannot be worked out with everyone.
What do you mean?
I refer specifically to the Los Angeles police. Or has your deep concern over salvage made you forget that Mr. Flynn is extremely dead?
It is said that sorrow follows sorrow, Mr. Chan, but death follows death. So it is found in life. So you have found it on the Honolulu Star. Will you be kind enough to keep me further informed?
May I request one small favor, please? You undoubtedly have many acquaintances in the harbor area.
It is so.
It might be of interest if a certain Captain Arturo Ramirez has friends aboard the Honolulu Star.
I will make inquiries.
What did you do then after the ship's engine stopped, Mr. Barker?
Well, I didn't do anything, Lieutenant. I didn't do anything at all. I stayed right there in the radio room.
Don't you usually send some kind of a distress call at a time like that?
Oh, no, sir. I couldn't take on a responsibility like that. Not myself. But I did send the call out after the captain told me to, didn't I, sir?
What kind of a call was it, Mr. Barker? General distress?
Why, yes. I radioed our position, asked any ships nearby to make contact with us, and well, the El Gavilan said she'd take us into Pedro.
Did you see the engineer, Johnny Flynn, during that time?
Oh, no, sir. I didn't see him until... until I saw him there on the deck. You know.
All right, Mr. Barker, that's about it for now.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Oh, I may want you a little later on. Be available, huh?
Sure thing, Lieutenant. Anytime, Lieutenant.
You don't need me in here. I've got things to do.
Perhaps like making that friendly deal with Captain Ramirez?
Any objections?
Oh, no, none whatsoever. But the insurance underwriters have. They dislike the claim for $150,000 which Captain Ramirez has filed.
150?
Do not be alarmed, Captain. They told me they have no intention of paying. Not until the possibility of collusion has been entirely eliminated.
Collusion can be a great big dirty word, Charlie.
So is murder, Lieutenant. You know, I am always amazed at the aptitude of sailors for making excellent coffee.
You say I cooked up this deal with Ramirez to split the salvage fee?
Someone aboard your ship could have made friendly arrangements.
Kind of took the play right out of my hands, didn't you, Charlie?
My apologies, Lieutenant. But you know, detection and the making of good coffee sometimes require the same ingredient. The proper amount of heat to bring about the desired result.
A few good coffee beans help a little.
Such as 2 deaths and sabotage of a ship's engines.
Lynn's death could be either murder or accident, and you could never prove sabotage. So we got no coffee.
We still have the known killing of Mr. Kim's son and the theory of possible collusion. Also, Mr. Kim reports that at one time, Captain Ramirez made Los Angeles Harbor his headquarters.
Lots of skippers still do.
Not all of them were friendly with a certain waitress whose name is now Doris Carnovan.
What did you tell him? What did you tell him?
Tell who, Mrs. Carnovan?
My husband. What did you say to him in here? What did you say?
Nothing to get alarmed about.
Well, then why did he take his gun? Why did he say he was going to kill Arturo Ramirez?
Take it easy.
Oh, you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to.
Tried to kill me. Why would he do that? He tried to kill me.
I told you 3 years ago to stay clear of Doris. Let her alone, I told you.
He did, Paul. He did.
And now you've done this to her. You had it coming for doing this.
He didn't do anything. I swear he didn't do anything.
I don't know what he's talking about. He comes in here like I don't know what. He tried to kill me, that's all I know.
And I will. That's a promise. I will.
No, Paul, you're wrong.
Just what is it you think Captain Ramirez has done, Captain Carnovan?
You told me. Collusion, you said. The deal they made to split the salvage fee. I should have known. A young and beautiful girl like her, she wouldn't have any use for
Oh,
it.
no, Paul, you're wrong.
Then you believe, Captain Carnovan, that you love your wife better than she loves you.
Wasn't her fault, Mr. Chan. I should have known.
Then please answer me this question. Why should she insist that you are innocent of the murder and yet you accuse her of committing the same crime?
But I didn't say that she...
Captain Carnovan, 2 men were murdered aboard your ship. Ramirez was at sea. If there was collusion, then only his confederate would be guilty.
Confederate?
Somebody do me a favor and tell me what's going on. I don't get any of this.
You want to press charges, Ramirez?
Me? What for? So I got all mixed up, flipped a little. All I want is for somebody to get me straightened out on all this.
Perhaps if you take Captain and Mrs. Conovan to the car, Lieutenant, I can explain things to Captain Ramirez.
About time we all got a little fresh air, huh?
And the things that happen to a man. Do a favor for a fellow skipper, save a ship at sea. So what happens? He comes in and tries to kill you. How do you figure that?
Love is like a blacksmith's hammer, Captain. It can shape the white-hot steel of emotion for both good and evil.
Yeah, I guess so. Who did you say you were?
My name is Chan. I was a passenger aboard the Honolulu Star.
So that's how you got mixed up in all this mess. Well, it's like I said. Do a favor for a friend. That's the kind of thing that happens.
$150,000 is a nice price for a favor, Captain, if you ever receive it.
Why should I not, Mr. Chan?
I have a very interesting theory concerning that, Captain, if you have a little time to listen.
Yeah, I have a little time.
If there was collusion between someone aboard the Honolulu Star and you, there would be one unpredictable factor.
That's so?
There was no way of knowing just when the ship would break down. So this would make a definite rendezvous point an impossibility.
So there could be no guarantee that my ship was the closest one when the distress signal went out. So much for your theory.
Quite right, Captain. If the distress signal went out.
What else could have gone out?
A direct call to your ship on a prearranged wavelength so it could not be intercepted.
Oh, no, Mr. Chan. Only an experienced radio operator could make such a call.
Mr. Barker, the radio officer, is an experienced operator. He is also a very nervous man. Excuse me. Would you get me Coast Guard headquarters, please? Yes, it could be called an emergency, thank you.
And what is the Coast Guard to do with all this?
If they show no record of a distress call and other ships were closer than yours, then Lieutenant Kovacs will have very little difficulty making the nervous Mr. Barker talk. Oh, yes, hello, would you get me Mr. On second thought, it will not be necessary. Thank you for your trouble.
If Ed Barker didn't hesitate at killing 2 men because they learned of our plans, why should I hesitate over one, Mr. Chan?
Captain Ramirez, under the present circumstances, I'm at a loss for words. So I would naturally...
Well, it looks like you've explained things very well.
Yes, Lieutenant, he was very cooperative. He even gave me the name of his accomplice. Yes, Mr. Ed Barker.
That's so? Well, just as soon as we've put the good captain on ice, we'll pick up Mr. Barker. Let's go, Ramirez.
I shall join you in a moment, Lieutenant.
Take your time, Charlie.
Hello? Mr. Kim? Mr. Chan. I have the honor to inform you that your son's ancestors may now rest in peace.